All right, guys, welcome back to the channel. And guys, the Predator is finally back, and I'm just gonna be doing a few things to it, you know, just finishing it up and getting it ready for the year. It needs a little bit of work, but it's not too bad. I'm just gonna take the tires off and get some new ones put on it. I mean, the fronts aren't too bad, but you know, from what I remember, I thought that they were getting a little weather cracked, but honestly, they don't look too bad right now. But it for sure needs rear tires. These ones are getting kind of bald. And last winter, I put screws in them just to ride it out in the snow and on the ice for traction. And my screws were a little long and put a few holes in the tire. But I mean, that one's actually holding air still. It's just this one that's flat. And then I thought one of the front ones leaked, but pretty sure they're both holding air right now. And then I was just going to do some control arm bushings just because those came loose again. The rest of the front end's still nice and tight from when I rebuilt it. And then if we come to the rear here, if you look at this hub, you can see that color, and then that one. This one never got painted. I forget exactly why. I don't know. I think it was stuck on the axle, and that's why it never got painted. But yeah, I think it's time to finally paint that just so it all matches. And then as far as the shock springs go, I think I'm just gonna leave them. I mean, that's how it came, as you know, it being a Troy Lee edition. So I mean, I'm not too bothered. They look all right. Plus, it's a lot of work to, you know, get those painted and stuff. So I think I'm just gonna leave them, and then I might just grease up the chain too, and maybe try and tighten that, just so I don't have to worry about it, you know, coming loose or falling off or, you know, breaking again. So there's that. And yeah, so I'm gonna get started with taking the wheels off. All right, guys, so I got the wheels all set up right here, and these are the new tires. I just went with some Sun Fs just because, I don't know, I think, you know, it was a pretty good deal on them when I got them. But guys, I've had these tires ever since I originally did the build on this quad right here, and that's like what, 2.5 years ago now. I know I kind of started uploading a bit late, but you know, I'm finally all caught up now, so that's pretty good. And yeah, so I'll bring these to my work and try and get them mounted. I can for sure do the fronts. I'm not too sure about the rears. The rears might be, you know, a little difficult, but I got this little portable tire machine thing right here. I think it's, I don't know, maybe from Harbor Freight or something. But I mean, I've done 4-wheeler tires on it before, but you know, it's pretty tricky. And yeah, I'll just see what happens. So I'm gonna try and get this done tomorrow, and then finish up the rest of the stuff on it. All right, guys, so I am back with the Predator here, and I got the wheels all brought home and mounted. And guys, let me tell you, the rear ones were definitely a challenge because the machine that I was using at work only goes down to 10-inch rims, and these are 9s. So they didn't clamp in the machine, but I don't know, it was hairy, but I got it to work. So I got the rears mounted, got the fronts mounted, ready to go on the machine now. And I did end up getting this hub painted, but I only had red orange paint, and I used like Kubota orange, so it's a little off. You can definitely tell on camera, but it's close enough. It's definitely closer than it was, and I don't know, it's good enough for me. So now it's time to get the wheels on it. Actually, I don't know if I'll put the front ones on yet, but I gotta do the control arm bushings. I got a new ignition that I just want to switch out, and then I'll have to tighten the chain and make sure that that's all set. So I'll get to that now. All right, guys, so I actually ended up putting the new wheels on it, well, tires, and I went out for a ride. It was a lot of fun, but just before I went riding, I was like, dang, this one didn't fully seat in the bead. So what I ended up trying to do, first I put air in it. That didn't work. And then I hit it with a mallet to try and bust it on the bead. Didn't budge. I even rode it with like, I don't know, probably had like almost 30 pounds in it, I bet. Still didn't. So then I took the air back out, sprayed some penetrating oil in there, aired it back up, hit it with the mallet, still didn't, you know, seat on the bead. So I was like, you know what, whatever, it holds air. So I just went riding anyways. So now I gotta bring this back to work, pop it off the bead on this side, and then now I gotta clean it out because, you know, we were riding on gravel roads, so some dirt got in there. And then probably re-glue it, lube up the tire nice and good this time, and make sure it seats on the bead, and then we should be good there. And then, I mean, it just needs control arm bushings because I know this one's getting really bad at the back, and I think this back one too, but I think the lowers are fine, or at least mostly fine. It's mainly just the uppers. And then the ignition too, I still got to put the new one in it. I noticed when I was riding today, I'd be going and then I'd shut it off, and then when I'd go to start it, I'd have the key turned, you know, in neutral of course, try and start it, nothing. So then I'd turn the key off, turn it back on, and then it would fire right up. So we'll try a new ignition and hope that that solves that problem. And then hopefully we should all be good to go. And then, you know, just some other little things, like I want to tighten the shock a little bit more so it's, you know, it doesn't like squat as much, I guess. I don't know. I like the nice high ride, you know, it gives you plenty of clearance. And then my chain could probably be tightened a little bit, and then maybe do a little bit of touch-ups and whatnot, and then just clean this thing up, and then probably end up putting it up for sale or something like that. Or maybe I'll keep it as a rider, but who knows. So got some work left, and I'll get that done, get back to you guys. All right, guys, so I got the Predator all finished now. And first what I did was I looked at the ignition, and I was having that connection problem. So when I looked down here, there was actually a zip tie around it. So I undid the zip tie and unplugged it, and this fell out. So there must have had this in there as a wedge, because the plug is like all wore out or something. So what I ended up having to do is I took the pins for the ignition and just twisted them a little bit with a needle nose. So now it connects to the plug a lot better now that it's angled and stuff. So I don't know what happened there. I never really had a problem, but now you turn the key on, you know, use the lights as reference. It's got power. You know, you wiggle it, still got power, so good to go there. That's all fixed. That's awesome. It's not gonna leave me stranded now when I go riding. Then I went ahead and stiffened up the rear shock now, so now she sits nice and level, or maybe even a touch high in the back. But you know, I'm a little bit of a bigger guy, so I mean, it works out better that way. It's you know, gonna hopefully ride a little bit nicer. And then I also went ahead and tightened up the chain just a little bit, so that should be all good to go. Won't hurt to lube it, and you know, then it'll be ready for its next ride. And then I did get the tire all reseated. I just had to de-bead this face of the wheel, and then I just cleaned up the bead, put a little bit of glue on it, lubed up the tire all nicely, and then it went right onto the bead. So not a big deal there. And with that being said, she should be ready to go ripping now. So hopefully maybe I'll be able to get some riding videos, but I'm for sure gonna do a budget build on it coming up, so stay tuned for that. So I'll catch you guys in the next video.